Have you always wanted to live here? Or maybe here? Or maybe this is more like it. How about here? This is nice, and this is pretty cool. And with all of what Elon's doing, maybe even here. Hi, I'm Mark Stiles of Stiles Law down here at Studio B. And by now you've probably read, seen, heard, maybe even here on this YouTube channel, that historically this is the best time to capture the most money for the sale of your home. And why is that? Because there are more buyers than there are sellers, and there's an imbalance between that supply and demand. Will this last forever? Probably not. So if you're looking to make a move in the next 1, 3, 5 years, maybe downsize, retire, upsize, right size, switch school districts, now probably is the best time to do that. But there's a lot to think about. If you sell, where are you going to go? And you can imagine this is what's holding the supply down. At Stiles Law, we specialize in solutions. So what are the solutions in this scenario? Well, we can lay out options, and some of those options may work and some may not. The first option would be to buy a home without having first sold your home, i.e. not subject to selling your home. Similar to last week, this isn't available for everyone, just like paying cash isn't available for all buyers. Another option is if you have a second home, you could sell your primary residence and move into that home while you find that home of your dreams. Again, these aren't available for everybody, so this is not going to solve the problem. But if it is available for you, it's a great solution. Another option is sell your home and rent a property while you look for a new home. Now, this would require moving twice, which is not ideal for everybody. And there's a chance that the supply of rental properties could diminish as well. The other concern is if you rent too long, then you might eliminate all of that gain that you gathered at this perceived top of the market. Another option is that you could request the buyer to allow you to lease back the property. You could list your property and disclose that seller requires a lease back. And again, many buyers are going to be very flexible in this marketplace, but it adds another wrinkle. If that buyer is looking for financing, that lender may not allow them to lease back, or at least limit the time frame of that lease back. And finally, one of the concepts that we've been talking with our real estate professionals a lot about is the concept of a suitable housing contingency. What does that mean? Well, it means the seller can list their property and disclose to the buyers that this sale, your purchase buyer, is subject to me, the seller, having the ability to go out into the market and find a property. That's interesting. So if we were to find a buyer that is allowing us to go out and find another property, maybe gives us 60 days, 45 days, or 30 days to find that property, maybe this will work. But what are some of the considerations to think about with a suitable housing contingency? Well, you now become the buyer, but you're subject to selling your home. So you're not a super strong buyer if you have something to sell. So how do we fix that? We make certain that you put your best foot forward, like last week's video. And in this case, you would be able to present to a seller that you have a ready, willing, and able buyer. But how do we make certain that your buyer is a ready, willing, and able buyer whose ability to execute on that sale is real? Well, they would have to do due diligence. They would have to go through the underwriting process with their lender, which costs money. They would want to do their home inspection. They would want to do an appraisal, and they would want to make sure that they have the ability to close. And in turn, that gives you the ability to be strong with your offer. But what happens if you don't find something and they're out of money? This is the concern they're going to have when they're making the offer. So again, let's be transparent. Let's be upfront. Let's answer all the questions before they're asked. Seller is disclosing that they are requiring the ability to find a new home. If they don't find a new home, seller will reimburse buyer up to an amount of X for the reimbursement of expenses for due diligence. So this is going to answer a question that a buyer may have when deciding whether or not to put an offer in on this property. So that would answer that question. So let's recap. You really want to sell your house, but you don't want to find yourself homeless. So you and your real estate professional together disclose to the public, where all of the buyers are, that you're willing to sell your house for a certain amount of money, subject to your ability to find a new house. You are willing to limit yourself to a certain number of days, and further availing yourself to reimburse that buyer with their out-of-pocket due diligence expenses, because they're spending that money to make you appear to be a stronger buyer. Folks, there are always options, but reach out. Make sure you have a team around you, a real estate professional, a mortgage professional, and of course, a real estate attorney. If you want to strategize in these challenging times, please reach out to me on my Calendly link. I've blocked off all those times at calendly.com/mstiles, and I'd be honored to speak with you and figure out a strategy for success. And finally, if you think somebody you know might be interested in the content we just talked about, please share it with that person, or anyone and everyone. But most importantly, subscribe to this YouTube channel for all of our valuable videos, and ring the bell so you know when the new one comes. Thank you and good luck.